This is another one of the Green Tech Renewables partner webinars highlighting Silfab Solar and MWT technology. Let's go. As usual, in our webinars, a little bit different format now, a little bit different platform, but you'll be able to see data sheets and additional resources are available under handouts, under the handouts tab up at the top. We'll do the usual Q&A session at the end of the event. Please submit questions anytime in the chat box. And of course, we'll be running a recording of the event that will be emailed to everybody. Let's go to the next one, please. And of course, I'm here representing Green Tech Renewables Engineering. We are a service center within Green Tech. So what that means is that we offer design services, all kinds of design services to Green Tech customers through their Green Tech representatives. Anybody can have an account who is a commercial account within Green Tech, and that gives them access, 24/7 access to our huge design team that's all over the country. It's not huge, but it's covers all facets of the industry: carports, batteries. We can work with HOAs, PPAs, military utilities, sensitive neighbors, anybody to help get your project done and get your permitting done. So let's take the next slide. And and so Green Tech itself, of course, if anybody doesn't know, is a nationwide network of 90 distribution facilities and customer support teams across the country. Of course, service and top-tier products are our focus. We're a nationwide company. Everyone knows us as a leading distributor, but we are very local. Each facility is hyper-focused on local support, local products, and local building and code requirements. The warehouses, of course, have everything you need to build projects on a will-call basis. And of course, if you're working with, say, the design team, my team, and a local Green Tech, we can do everything from preliminary designs and preliminary ordering to support even large commercial and industrial projects as they're developed and supplied. So yeah, that's the intro to Green Tech and Green Tech Design Services. Let's go to the next slide if we can, which is the actual intro slide for our Silfab speakers. Thanks, guys.
Appreciate it. Thanks, Stuart. You have Eric and I for the next 30 or 40 minutes here, hopefully to do a bit of a deep dive on Silfab and Silfab product lineups, and more specifically Elite. So my name is Ryan Adams. I'm the Director of Business Development, and my colleague Eric is our Director of Product Development. So all of the products you see in the market today, and obviously the roadmap for years to come, are all coming from the between the ears of this gentleman here. So we'll start with just an overview a little bit, in case not everyone is familiar with Silfab, kind of where we came from, where we're going, just a really high level for a slide or two, and then jump into kind of the overall product map, and then turn our sights on Silfab Elite, the very differentiated product in the market today. We'll do a bit of a deep dive onto that. As far as questions, please type them into the chat function on the side of your screen here, and if I catch it and it's really relevant and we can work it in to the discussion at the time, great. If not, we'll go through them at the end of the presentation and address all that we can. And if not, if it takes some digging on our side of Eric and I, then we'll get back to you and present them to you via email. So thank you, everyone, for taking the time. 113 people or so that have logged in so far, and we hope in the next 30, 40 minutes give you a good overview of Silfab and get more information to you. So kind of the overall picture, I like pictures instead of a lot of words on a slide. So, in general, Silfab, I think most people would know Silfab as a domestic panel manufacturer, which is very true. We've got 3 manufacturing facilities in North America today, totaling just over a gigawatt of nameplate capacity today, with 3 new lines coming this year. But the backbone of the company started 40 some odd years ago, 41, 42 years ago. Franco Traverso and the Spitic family have been in PV supply chain since 1981. They were the original investors into Silfab Americas back in 2010. So that was the seed capital to start the manufacturing facility here in Toronto, and still remains, although the ownership is now all North American, it still remains as a major part of our international supply chain experience. They are still on our board. They're still a major part of the supply chain and the technological review committee for all of our decisions. So it's a good combination for us of being a domestic brand, right? There's 800, it says 800, I think we're actually more like 850 now. So having 850 employees here on the ground, boots on the ground, from Eric and his product development team through the manufacturing, through the logistics, and then the sales support service, all of the after the fact side of it as well. 100% of everyone is based here. And that's important for obviously a lot of reasons for your business. But we also were built off the back of 40 years of international PV supply chain, from ingots and wafers to PV grade silicon to module assembly to utility scale solar development. We really have background in majority of the aspects of the PV industry, and it's been that's allowed us to remain growth oriented and profitable and making smart decisions over the last 12 or 13 years that we've had Silfab North America. So I mentioned the 3 plants today. There are 3 new lines that are all ramping up this year, adding another 600, 700+ megawatts of nameplate capacity. And then if you've follow the news, there's been some press releases. The first tranche of our 4th plant has been announced. Still not allowed to say exactly where it is, but you can find that information if you Google around a little bit. And that would involve another, I was going to say I'm streaming lost. All right, I lost you there. Eric, can you see the screen?
I can see you. Can't see the screen yet. There it is.
There it is. Sorry, not sure. It just said streaming lost, and it. I'm going to turn my
camera off. Just
my video off here. Perfect. No one wants to see my mug, anyways. Okay, so adding to existing facilities, as we've been doing, logically and systematically over the last 10, 12 years, but also then taking a large step into the 4th plant with, over a gigawatt of cells and over a gigawatt of additional module manufacturing capacity on North American soil, US soil as well. And then the final point there, and it's somewhat vague, but I wanted to just add it as a discussion topic of really who or what has allowed us to become a good partner and support our partners, our long-term partners over the years, and stability and reliability, right, from logistical to the political side. So we build product here. The supply chain is, comes in through here. Where that differentiates us is that finished goods aren't landing here. So when there's port congestions and COVID issues and supply chain constraints and we have buffers of product that enable us to continue to hit our commitments to our partners, our distribution partners, and you don't necessarily even know that there's been a port shutdown or a congestion or any of those issues, because we have a buffer of raw material supply here. Whereas if you're bringing finished goods in, it gets stuck at the port for 2 days, you don't see it for 2 days. And on the political side, geopolitical side, whatever you want to refer to it as, I guess, we all hear the alphabet of letters: the UFLPA, forced labor piece, the anti-circ from Southeast Asia, the IRA legislation. All of those support domestic production, right? They all favor domestic production. They all allow our business to be validated because, the administration looks at domestic production and says, this is where we want to put our political background. So, knowing that those major factors who have tripped up a good number of module and inverter and racking and anyone importing products into the country, again, we're in a very good position and have always allowed our partners to just have a good stable supply of modules, through the thick and thin of COVID and supply constraints and forced labor inspections and all that type of stuff. So the why Silfab, before we jump to the product, it is making smart decisions. We are not a multinational behemoth, multi-billion-dollar publicly traded company. We are a privately held North American company with all ownership here, and that allows us to, control our own destiny, and make those smart decisions to be profitable and just reinvest profit. All growth to date has been on retained earnings year over year. So the balance sheet looks great. We're able to be on all major AVLs, approved on all commercial and utility and government projects, et cetera, right? So where the major financial institutions come into play, we come out looking great on the far side, and that probably leaves us in a class of our own in the solar industry today. I mentioned having all the support, the service, the whole infrastructure here. That's a big piece, right? Every single decision is made here, period. From where we source materials to what products we build to how we facilitate sales to who we partner with, etc. No decisions go overseas, nothing. It is all done here between our 3 locations by the people, the owners and employees of this company. And that's, again, differentiates us considerably from even some other domestic manufacturers where there is a large parent company, obviously, in another area of the world that pulls some of the strings. We are here. We are part of the company. We live in the market that we're in, and this is the only market that we satisfy. And then on the manufacturing side, again, we need to be differentiated. We can't just build a huge volume of low efficiency, low quality, or off spec product and stick it in a warehouse and then find homes for it. So all of our manufacturing is just in time manufacturing. We do not have finished goods warehouses that we put stuff into. They're ISO certified facilities. They're open for people to come and do tours. We like to be, we like to run a model like that so that, again, we make decisions real time on what's the best decision that day and how it impacts our partners. So having, the high quality, fully automated facilities, just in time manufacturing, and having Eric on the team to obviously keep us ahead of the curve on the product side of things. And the last piece is just, I think we have a little bit of a leg up on this category because we are based here, and even from the initial outlay of the company, being green and sustainable within the green industry was always a big piece of the mandate of the company. So whether it's the environmental side of things and the ability to access, recycled entities for out of spec product or broken product or the affluence created through manufacturing, whatever it happens to be, North American context is obviously very different than manufacturing in other areas of the world. On the social aspect, we are here, 100% of our employees are here, and we're a part of the community, and people make a living wage and have families and cars and houses, and being part of this company, and that makes us all feel good that not only are we creating a good product for the environment, but we're also creating good jobs that sustain families and individuals within the North American context. And the good governance piece of being transparent, being honest, being open, it's very difficult to hide very much because it's all right here. It's all done here. All of our employees are here. Our manufacturing is done here. You can come and tour the plant. So being above board and simply building a sustainable business model looking 5 or 10 years out has bode well for us in growing a good company that most of you, if you're business partners with us today, are happy to be a part of. So this is where Rachel's going to come in with a poll. I have never seen a poll on this, so I will pass it over to Rachel to, there you go, the poll pops up. And I'll give everyone 10 or 15 seconds just to take a look at it, hit it quickly and we'll jump back into it. Gives us an interested idea of the type of people that are listening to us today. Maybe I'll move forward when I hit 50%. There we go. We got 50% of the audience. Perfect. Appreciate the answers, guys. So let's jump into the product roadmap, which is what everyone was here for today. So we like to keep things pretty simple, right? We do 10-watt power classes. We do positive tolerance modules. We try to keep it to 2 residential power classes or technologies and 1 commercial at any set point. And we try to keep that for 9 to 12 months with the wafer and polysilicon gods agreeing that they don't change or obsolete a certain wafer size at a certain point in time. But this is our lineup through 2023. We were spot on time transitioning to these 3 products in January, and we will run these products through the remainder of the year. And that helps, obviously, it helps us in streamlining our manufacturing business. It helps our distribution partners. They only have limited number of SKUs to carry and support, and it helps you, our installation partners, to know that you can quote a product and still get it for 5, 6, 7, 8 months down the road, because sometimes permitting and lead times are quite lengthy in certain markets, the United States. So having these products available for a long period of time certainly helps all of us in the supply chain, top to bottom. So on the Silfab Prime side of things, this is our heavy volume product. This is an all black cell, black bus bar, black backsheet, black frame, etc. 25-year product warranty, 30-year performance warranty, and we build it rugged, right? So we build it 5,400 Pascal, both rear and front side loads. So I think it's one of only 3 or 4 modules approved in Miami-Dade County in southern Florida for the purposes of the uplift and hurricane type winds. But for us, building products for here, we get snow, we get rain, we get shine, we get all sorts of weather patterns. And so Eric and team have always been the mindset to build it rugged right from the outset so that we can be applicable in every market and stand up to the warranty that we have in time. So as I said, this is our high volume product. This is 75% of our total manufacturing capacity on North American soil is this Prime product. It is a 400 watt, and it will remain a 400 watt for months and months and months to come. And it is available through most of your CED partners today. The commercial side of things, now this is, call it 20-ish%, 25% of our overall module portfolio. This 500 watt product is high efficiency. We are not mass production. We don't have 15 gigawatts of production in various countries that we can then chase large opportunities around the world. So what we do is we build high quality, high efficiency product that will suit the needs of those looking for those trends, not necessarily the lowest price in the market. So very few people have ever moved to Silfab to save money. That is not our forte. We build a good quality product, and we have partnership involved. So our commercial product is 21% efficient. What you'll notice about the length, our 490 was actually 7 inches longer than this, but we took the feedback last year that said great wattage, 490 is good, aggressive for rooftop and carport, etc. But the module is too long. It's tough to move on a pallet. It's tough to get into trucks. It's tough to carry. So this year, by moving to a 66 cell M10 wafer, that's allowed us to shorten the module by 7 inches, right? So it obviously increases the width by about 3 and a bit, I believe. But it allows us to make a shorter squatter module that fits well on carports as far as getting something, within that 40-foot length. Good aggressive wattage, still 500 watts, good round nameplate for rooftop calculations. And then a big difference that we also have on the commercial side is that we apply our residential warranty, the 25-year product and 30-year performance, to our commercial modules as well. So I think that differentiates this product considerably from really much else that's on the market today. So when it comes to that type of development for a customer looking at kind of longevity of terms on the warrantable side, I think this product stands kind of head and shoulders above most. What I will say about this product is it is the only product that we don't build in our North American facilities today. We made that decision mid 2020. We simply did not have enough capacity to meet the demand for residential products in our North American facilities. And so we have been using a sister facility in the Middle East for this one. With IRA, it certainly makes sense to bring this back to US soil. So the fourth plant would have a line dedicated to building commercial product in the fourth facility in 2024. I think I'll leave that there. Yeah, let's move the second piece here. Just an interest question for Rachel to pop up here is, every market's a little bit different, from California to Florida to the Northeast to the Midwest to the Caribbean. What do your customers typically, and usually it's a mixture, obviously a sliding scale, but what do your customers generally look for? What is the most important factor of these that are discussed when you're sitting at the dining room table or the boardroom speaking to a customer? Again, I'll give 10, 15 seconds just to get through this. And everyone's leaning on price. Should have asked, would this have differed? This answer have differed a year ago when interest rates hadn't spiked so high. But anyways, a snapshot of a picture. So appreciate those answers, guys. Let's jump into the Silfab Elite. This is the deep dive here for the last 20 minutes or so of the presentation, is looking at a truly differentiated product, not only in our portfolio, but in the market in general, and that it's a back contact technology, metal wrap through that Eric will get into, that is not produced by anyone else in North America or Europe. So we'll start with just the cut sheet, the high level, before I throw it over to Eric, who can go much deeper than I can. So, module efficiency of 21.5% puts it in the same categories as, because it's being recorded, maybe I won't name all sorts of other brands, but obviously the big, the brand names, the household brands that out there, that 21.5 moving higher towards 22%, high efficiency product in the market today. What you'll notice, it's 2 and a bit inches shorter than majority of the 390, 395, 400 watt modules on the market today. So that's really where that power density comes into play. That we can squeeze 410 watts into a footprint that's actually smaller than what a lot of others are building 395s, 400s. And for us, it's not an elite panel. A premium panel is not just wattage. Anyone can go and add another row of M6 cells and call it a 440, 460, build a 500. To us, an elite or premium panel is not related to wattage. It's all of the other factors, right? It is, you need to have a wattage slightly ahead of the pack, but really it's efficiencies. It's the performance characteristics of that module. It's all of the other pieces that go along with being an elite module, and that's, I guess, what Eric's going to touch on for the rest of this here. So just keep that in mind. We could go make a 450 if we wanted, and we could call that premium. To us, that's not a premium panel. Silfab Elite is the culmination of 4 generations now and 6+ years of R&D work from our team to put together this product built exclusively in the US. And I'll try to play this video here. It sometimes gives me a bit of a headache, but just wanted to introduce kind of the difference in the front end manufacturing, right? So many of you may not be interested in this side of things. A panel's a panel, give it to me at a fair price, and I'll go and pitch it. But it is such a differentiated manufacturing hierarchy that I wanted to kind of just outline a little bit of that now, so you kind of understand, if you've ever seen a front contact module, how the difference is in having a back contact technology. Oh, it's going to do that to me. All right, I'll freeze it here. Well, I gave it a try. Anyways, if you, I'll just run it through. You'll see the insulator layer with a conductive paste. So instead of front side bussing and stringing, there is a insulation layer that separates a copper back sheet from the back contact cell. Maybe I'll just let it because the music is loud. So you see that there's a copper backsheet, right? So this is where all the current conveyance is being done. There's an insulation layer within a conductive paste that connects the back contacts of our proprietary back contact metal wrap through cell to that copper back layer. And then you also notice the difference there in the cell placement. It's not done in a conventional front end. You are soldering, high temperature solder. You're soldering together 6 to 12 cells, and then you're moving those substrings along, lining them up, and then you're starting to bust those together to make really an electrical matrix or completing that electrical circuit. And then you laminate that between glass and backsheet with some EVA. With this technology, those are GPS-based placements, right? So those cells are actually being moved over and placed based on a GPS coordinate. So regardless of its M4, M6, M10 wafer sizes, those machines can just pick and place over and over and over very quickly. No front side high temperature soldering. That changes A, the efficiency of the line, B, the ruggedness of the module, C, the way the electrical characteristics of the module perform, etc. So just wanted to give you that, and we can send links to the picture, the video as well, for understanding kind of the differentiated properties of how it's manufactured. And at this point, I will actually pass it over to Eric, my esteemed colleague, to do a deep dive into the technology side, specifically on the individual components of the Silfab Elite.
Great, thanks, Ryan. And if you yeah, so you touched a little bit on the manufacturing process, right? And so I'm based here in Bellingham, Washington. I've been intimately involved in all the operations here and developing the technology behind building this panel. And that's really exciting, and it's something we've worked really hard. The team here, the workforce that we've developed here is outstanding, and it really it's exciting to be part of a team that's developing that. But what I wanted to kind of dive in to here today is a little bit about the module itself. Why is this important to you, the installer, the homeowner? And what sort of benefits do you see from this module? And so in order to maybe describe it, I wanted to go through this slide, and I think you can click the video there, Ryan. It'll show through the various layers. But really, what's exciting about this is it's moved away from these high temperature soldered interconnections of old, and really it's resembling a integrated circuit for what we think is the future of solar module technology. And it starts with that rear copper layer, right? This is where all the interconnections are made between the cells and the diodes and the junction boxes and the connectors. And so that layer really sets the foundation and allows us to really do all the interconnections needed to make the module perform. The next layer is what we mentioned, this rear insulator. This is where everything gets glued together, the interconnections get made, and this is really a material that was engineered for withstanding heat, humidity, UV, all the stressors you might see on your roof, and gives us that 30-year lifetime. Finally, we have the cells. So this is something we developed here at Silfab, this metal wrap through. You hear MWT, and what that means is we've really wrapped the metal from the front side of the cell to the rear side so that we can make all the interconnections on the back side of the cell. That's what allows us to use that copper layer to interconnect everything together. The rear side of the cell is where all those interconnections are made, and that's really what makes this module unique. And finally, we top this off with an advanced AR coated glass. This is something that's kind of a step above what would be on our prime or commercial products, and we can in the next couple of slides talk about what advantages that brings. So this is the overall module, and so what I want to do is dive into what does elite performance look like, right? And Ryan touched on the efficiency factor here. So it is a higher efficiency module, which means we pack more power into a smaller footprint. But that's not the only advantage, right? what we're really gearing this product for is for higher energy production per kilowatt on your roof, right? And so I wanted to walk through how exactly we get there. And the first way we touched on this AR coated glass. What does that mean? Why do I care about an advanced coating? When the chart here that you're seeing is the amount of light transmission at various incident angles. So, low incidence angles means the sun's very high in the sky, and high incidence angles means it's low in the sky, in the morning, in the winter, in the evening, right? All of these things. And so two modules may look the same at peak performance at noon on a sunny day, but where this investment in a new AR coated glass really shines is when we go to those off peak performance, right? So when the sun is low in the sky, you can see that we're getting more light transmission into that module. This translates to more energy over the course of the day, even with the same nameplate power on the module. So building onto this story, along with that AR coating, this rear side interconnection also allows us to really change the game in terms of the optimizations that we need to do when designing this product. So for a conventional module where we have front and rear interconnected cells, there's often a trade-off between the amount of wires or bus bars or ribbons that you put on top of the cell for interconnection, so the amount of copper you have versus how much shading there is. And so there's this trade-off that you typically have to do. And with the Elite product, with all those connections happening on the rear side, we don't have that same trade-off. So we can put the right amount of copper, put that optimizes performance. And what that means is if you take two modules, and this chart on the right shows the efficiency as a function of a radiance for a conventional and our Elite product. 1,000 watts per meter squared is typically one sun, right? This is nominal performance at noon on a sunny day. But as you back away from that and you go to 80%, 60%, 40, or 20%, you can start to see that there's more power, more efficiency that's maintained at these lower irradiance levels. And that's really due to the fact that of our interconnection process and really reducing that interconnect resistance between the cells. And so again, the same performance at one sun conditions, but yet we're still seeing a higher performance at lower radiance conditions. And this you don't necessarily see on the nameplate power rating of a module. And so what we're kind of gearing towards is more energy over the course of a day, over the course of a year for the same 410 watt module. We're getting more kilowatt hours out of that system. So if you want to go to the next slide here, Ryan, just to build on that story one step further is really this copper layer. And what that does, this copper is a really great thermal conductor. So this allows us to dissipate heat quicker away from the module. So when it's on a roof on a sunny day, here we have an example of a modeled performance on a summer day in Los Angeles. And so at the peak of the day, this module is actually going to operate at a lower temperature. And that's because this copper layer diffuses that heat and allows it to leave the module. And as we all know, the lower the temperature of the module, the more power it's going to produce. And so this is an example where even on a sunny day in a hot climate, we're getting up to 3 to 5% more energy production due to the lower temperature. And so the previous couple slides talked about low light conditions, low angles early in the day, late in the day, in the winter. This shows that it's also getting higher performance midday and full sun. And so that combined all together really gives this product, an advantage in terms of the amount of energy it will produce throughout the day and throughout the year. And that could be as much as 5% depending on, where that system is installed. Great. So we touched on performance. The next thing I wanted to kind of hit on, and something that really is a core value here at Silfab, is quality and reliability. And so to start with our elite product, right, superior mechanical durability. We touched on our high snow load or wind load ratings, and how do we know? I mean, there's a picture there. It's kind of small, but we test it, right? There's over a ton of sandbags with a module underneath there, and we've done those tests, and we've tested the module for performance before and after. And what we see with this copper layer also distributes that stress. There's no point loads due to all the ribbons and wires. And so these modules will actually have fewer micro cracks after these real severe mechanical loading events. And so the performance will be maintained over a longer period of time and through these severe mechanical events, right? And so we've done the testing, we've seen those results, and what's unique about this product is the way that stress is distributed. So it's not just that the frame and the glass survives those big loads, but that the module continues to perform even with those big loads. To build on this story, we've put this module through a number of tests, right? And this is through these PQP scorecard presented by PVEL, right? They're a key partner of ours, where our modules have gone through testing, industry standard testing and beyond, and they continue to perform. The first note here is LID, PID, LETID, right? These are all complicated degradation mechanisms, right? You don't have to worry about these. We've done the testing to make sure these are not going to affect our modules or your system. And so this is just not something you're going to have to worry about. To build on that, we have put these through thermal cycling. What does that mean? This is, big temperature fluctuations from very cold to very hot, hundreds of times. And this, and the module performs even after all this testing, right? And this is to make sure it will withstand hot climates in the US Southwest, right? A rooftop in Arizona gets really hot in the summer, and it gets during the day, and it gets very cold at night. And we've done the testing through third party to validate that it will last the lifetime of the module. Mechanical stress, we talked about, these big static loads, but we've also done dynamic loads and thermal stresses, and combined all these into a mechanical stress sequence to make sure the module, again, will perform long, for its full lifetime and beyond. And finally, damp heat, right? This is where we really test it for moisture sensitivity, hot, humid climates like Florida. We want to make sure, again, that there's no environment you're going to throw at this module where it's going to perform less than it should, right? And so we've backed it up with that third-party testing to ensure that these modules will last. And this is really, not just a core value for our Elite, but our entire product lineup. Our Elite has some additional advantages there, and performance, reliability, manufacturing quality, right? Wrapping all these things together, that's really why this module is Elite, and why this stands, kind of above all of our other product offerings. So I think, Ryan, I'll hand it back to you here to talk a little bit about, what a homeowner or installer might see.
Yeah, appreciate it. And so, the reason we did one of those polls was what's important to you, right? And I don't think any single answer suits all customers, right? Some are price sensitive, some are aesthetics related, some are efficiency, some are just get the electricity bill as low as possible. and that's what Silfab is based on, is trying to provide a little bit of all of the values that that a homeowner or a business owner may request, right? So looking at this panel, I mean, without the front side stringing and bussing, high density, with that proprietary star pattern on it, these things are the sleekest looking panels in the market today, period. There is nothing else out there that compares to this. So just wanted to give an image of an install here. I mean, talk about just matte black, right? There is the frame, the glass, everything integrated so that you really just looks like a flat screen TV that's been turned off. As far as putting it side by side against any of the other premium products, or even middle of the road products, whatever you want to call them, the aesthetic side of things hands down goes to this product. If you were at RE Plus in September last year, you would have seen a couple of these on display. I think they were a part of every major, all the press coverage. Every single one of them reported on this product without even knowing the operational specs of the product, simply looking at the aesthetics of it and how much of a game changer that is. And then kind of putting those pieces together, and I look at, if you're going to buy a premium product, I mean, we only build this in the US. And this is the only premium product built in the US. If homeowners are going to spend the money to have a premium product on their roof, why would they not be getting a US made premium product, right? To me, it's a no-brainer. To a lot of our partners that are selling this product, it's obviously a huge selling feature, and that you can get the efficiency, you can get the ruggedness and durability, you get the aesthetics, but it's also all built here. And there are no other premium modules on the market today that can say that. So if you're going to buy premium, it might as well be an American-made premium. And then my last 3 points here, and then I'll go to some questions, and I appreciate all the questions that are coming in already. So, looking at power density, and I think, and it's an interesting time in the industry with interest rates up and a lot of crazy weather this winter, and et cetera, et cetera. And so people are looking at lower cost items and forgetting the benefit of high power density. So I kind of just quickly calculated this, and I don't know if a lot of people look at, watts per square foot. Just what is the power density of a panel? So the Silfab Elite is 20 watts per square foot. So forgetting what size the rooftop is, just look at it in square feet. That power density is 7% higher than all the 400s, 395s, 400s on the market today. So what that means is, per every square foot, or the average square foot of an install, that you're getting 7% more power. So to give that context, an 8 kilowatt system, which seems to be a fairly average, residential install across the country, that makes it an 8.5. And so you're getting an extra half kilowatt. And don't forget that, the design cost didn't change, the permit cost didn't change, the truck roll cost didn't change. The inverter side of things, depending on how hard you're pushing the inverter, but something like a Solar Edge Optimizer, an S550, doesn't change. You're using the same device on the MLPE side of things. Racking, you're packing more into every square foot, so there really isn't much of a racking difference. And sales acquisition, at the end of the day, the cost you paid the salesperson or the lead source doesn't change. All of these things are fixed costs, and we put that number at somewhere between 35 and 40%. I like the round number of 33%. So a third of the costs of that system don't actually change when you get that extra. So you're actually only taking that. There is a premium in cost. Any premium module, the technology costs a bit more, but you're actually only spreading that out over 2/3 of the system cost, not the other fixed costs. So the ROI of that additional cost is actually quite money well spent. So hopefully I explained that relatively well, but don't forget those fixed costs that don't change. There's a lot of things in there that, regardless if you put a 7.5 or an 8.5 kilowatt system on the roof, you pay all the same costs. Right? Ease of installation. So the right-hand image there, I know a lot of, this has been feedback from, unfortunately, when you go half cell in conventional technologies, you reduce the resistance in the circuit, therefore you get more power. So everyone has gone to half cell. That splits the J box down the middle. By going with Silfab Elite, these are full cells, therefore one single J box at the top, and cable management becomes a heck of a lot easier. I've never met an installer who has ever said, I prefer the split J box in the middle in dealing with cable management. This is obviously quicker to get on and off the roof. And then let's look down the line. I mean, these modules will have to be recycled at some point in the future, whether it's a broken module next to a golf course in the one-off, or the fact that 25, 30, 35 years from now, these modules are going to have to be recycled, and we are all employed in a renewable industry. We want to make a product that is environmentally friendly as possible when it comes to the recycling side of things. So this module is lead and fluorine free, so that the feedstock going into that recycling campaign is actually easy to deal with without these noxious chemicals. And that's, again, a big piece for us in developing this product, was something that we could stand on every aspect: the production, the density, the appearance, the country of origin, the ease of installation for our installation partners, the recyclability of it down the road, etc. Right? If we can get check off 9 of the 10 boxes, then we think we've come up with a pretty damn good product. And so I need to give accolade to Eric and his team for developing this. Is the 4th generation product, the 410BG, which is available in many of your CED locations today. And that was the crux of the presentation. What did we do? 47 minutes. I'm 2 minutes over. I blame Stuart for his intro. Open it up to questions. I will scroll back here in the. Oh, geez. I work on an O&M company, so we work on modules that are already engineered and installed on site. I don't know if that's a question. Is this the same company that was in Texas or Arizona? Russ Stokes, we do not have anything in Texas or Arizona. We have our headquarters in Canada with one manufacturing facility on the west side of Toronto, and then we have 2 manufacturing facilities in Washington State, and our third U.S. manufacturing facility will be in the southeast of the United States. Question about bifacials. So this product specifically is obviously not capable of being bifacial, in that the copper circuit is on the back of the cells. Therefore, you would be blocking much of any reflected irradiance with this module specifically. Our other products, we have looked at it. The reason you see so much of it in the industry today is not specifically because it's a better technology for residential or commercial rooftop, but because there's a tariff play, right? You can bring it into the country without 201 and 301 tariffs. Therefore, if you're bringing finished goods into the country, you just throw a transparent backsheet on it, label it bifacial, and ta-da, you avoid the import tariffs. Great. Doesn't necessarily mean there's a reason to have it. So we have done quite a bit of work. I believe the commercial, next generation commercial, we are certainly looking into it even more. But on the residential product, when you've got flush mount on black asphalt roofs, the gains of going with a bifacial product in that environment, which is, again, 75, 80% of our business, has not been shown in any testing that we've done. Where did we go? Supply chain timeframes and uptime are our largest concerns. I'm not sure that's a question. Any good financing companies? Yeah, I mean, there's lots of stuff out there. Obviously, the interest rates have gone up, the dealer fees have gone up. They've taken away the M1 payments on a lot of them. Unfortunately, Silfab does not, popular contrary belief, we do not control the U.S. banking industry. Therefore, today have no input. But there's a lot of good ones out there, but they're dealing with the interest rate hikes like we all are, with mortgage rates and lending values. So. But there are some new lease products. We've historically not been used in a lot of lease environments, because why not just use the lowest cost, lowest efficiency product you can, get it up on the roof, slap it off quick. Someone else owns it by the end of the day. But obviously with the IRA, the major lease providers have taken a much more key interest in Silfab because of the potential for the additional 10% ITC. And actually, do your panels qualify for the 40% ITC? So there's the next question. No one knows today. Treasury, IRS have not released any guidance. So the IRA released the idea that domestic product would then yield an additional 10% ITC, bringing that to 40%. The issue is they have not declared what domestic, in quotes, is. what the rumors and what the lobbying from ourselves and Q cells and anyone else with domestic manufacturing facilities would be to say there is no supply chain today for ingots, wafers, cells, EVA, glass frames, whatever. That does not exist in the US today. It will in a couple of years, but this takes $200, $300, $400 million in 2 or 3 years. So give us time. Allow domestically assembled modules to constitute that domestic content for a year and a half, 2 years, something like that, and put a stepped time frame in there. That's kind of just what's been suggested by the domestic manufacturers, so that the IRA can be a benefit to the solar industry today, given that obviously interest rates have certainly changed the demand landscape a little bit. So hopefully that answers. Anyone that's saying that they can guaranteed 100% get you that extra 10% is being very untruthful, and they're taking a huge risk. We do not know. We are not the IRS. We are not Treasury. We cannot control what their decision is. So that guidance is in theory to be out in the next couple of months. And we're all kind of waiting to hear what it is. How would you compare against SunPower Maxion modules if you have a copper backsheet? Eric, I will throw that over to you as far as the differentiation between copper backsheeted technologies.
Yeah, I mean, there's, I don't necessarily want to talk to another, product here, but what I do know is, there are a lot of advantages to having a back contact cell technology, right? There's a reason why these modules lend themselves to higher efficiencies, higher energy production, and higher better durability and reliability. And so, exactly where we stack up against our competitors, I'll leave that to the audience and to everyone out there to really look in terms of the specs. But these are, an elite product. This is our top of the line. And this is, in a lot of ways, only the beginning. We see a long future ahead with this in terms of improvements we need to make and changes and this could be a platform for the next the next generation of solar modules made right here in the US, right? All the advantages from the manufacturing to the performance really lend themselves well to made in USA product. And so this is just the start from what we see. And I think there'll be a lot more to come in the coming years.
Thanks. Carol asked, is this beauty going to be tested in the PVAL? Yeah, so the previous generation had been through and already gone through the PVAL. This is a new product coming out this year, but yes, we run all of our modules through. It does only happen once a year, and the scorecard comes out once a year. So unfortunately, there's a year between releases, but we do run our products through those for all of our major AVL partners. People asking for the link to the Elite video. I will send that out to all attendees afterwards. Bifacial, I think we already touched on that. Tax credit, we touched on that. Sean says, Silfab's the best. What are your top competitors pushing in watts per square foot? Where do you fall in the top 5, top 10? Well, you're right, I should probably have that number. So 410, and that's 7% higher, so times 0.93. So that same square footage would yield about a 381 watt module. Right? So you got to remember, this is a smaller footprint than the 400s that are on the market today. So at the 400 efficiency of that you see in our prime would be another example of that. If you were to take our prime and that efficiency in the footprint of the Elite, it would only get you a 380 watt module. Hope that answers the question. And that's, ours is comparable with, the Rec Alpha, the Panasonic products, the Meyer Burger. Where's Meyer Burger? Anyways, those guys are all around that same 21.5, 21.6, something in and around there. SunPower Maxion ends up being above that, and there's a price attached to it. Lead times. It's more of a distributor question. I mean, we distribute to hundreds of warehouses around the country every day. Don, I need to reach out and discuss how much volume and what type of product, etc. But we have all of these products in all of these warehouses all the time.
Yeah, Ryan, I can add that for green tech, people just have to contact their local sales rep, and they'll, if they don't have immediate availability, they can give lead time per region.
Do you export products to other countries? Yeah, yes and no. Mexico, Caribbean, a little bit into Central America, but no, at this point in time, we do very little outside of North America, Central America. How long does it take to perform the reliability testing? Eric, how long are these advanced life cycle tests?
Yeah, so this is a great question. I mean, you know, what we're trying to simulate, right, is 30 years of lifetime, and so that's not an easy task. And so a lot of these tests are combinations of different tests and sequences and legs that last many months, right? Some of them up to 6 months at the longest. And so that's part of the question before about, you know, P-Bell scorecard. I mean, getting all those tests done and the reports submitted, right? I mean, it's a 6, 9, 12-month effort between product build and testing and reporting. And so there's a really long life cycle, and that's a good thing, right? That's to ensure that the products go through this rigorous testing and are fully vetted before they come out.
All right, try to get through these quickly here and get off within an hour. Are the 490s going to continue to sell through green tech? We are no longer building the 490s, but there is still inventory in 10 or 15 different CED locations. Please reach out. We'll connect you with a location that has it. Will you have a certified installer program? Great question, Pamela Garcia. We have mulled this over quite a few times. I think where we stop at each time is providing something that's truly differentiated. What we don't want to do is here's a preferred partner program and you get points and you get a hat. So we have a registered partner program where you register your company once to provide our full extended warranty. But beyond that, we have not initiated any additional programs at this time, but we continue to mull it over, so we're open to suggestions. Is there a video downloading the Elite? Yes, we'll get a couple links out. Chris G, Go Leafs Go, love it. Does anyone else build MWT? No, not in any European, African, Australian, North American contexts. There are 2 large manufacturers in China. Outside of that, we have the license agreement to exclusive to build this metal wrap through product, and the backsheet technology with the embedded copper layer, etc., is actually a JV between ourselves and our providers, our vendors. So this generation has been, you know, long in the making with that product. Brian, are the 370s discontinued? Yes, again, we have stopped building 370s. Due to overwhelming demand for higher wattage. I sure hope that 400 is where it stops. Unfortunately, we don't like it either, changing over higher and bigger. But we're at the 400 on all of our prime lines today. But there are 370s still available in a bunch of warehouses. And again, happy to connect people with that supply because I do know there is a bunch in warehouses still. We built those until Q1 just a couple months ago. Oh man, they're still coming in here. How do you see residential product availability shaping up for the next few quarters, years? That is a crystal ball type of question, Alex. There has been, I mean, last year, plain and simple, there was just over demand, right? Everyone was simply sold out for a long period of time. So while we hit, very proud to say, we hit all of our shipments, all of our commitments. We didn't miss a beat throughout COVID and all the supply constraints and congested borders and all that stuff. We hit all of our shipment commitments. The issue was it simply wasn't enough product. We are in growth phase for the next 2 years with another 6 lines total between starting in Q3 of this year and over that next 24-month period. So that will continue to add availability of Silfab products, both prime, elite, and commercial. It's very difficult. I mean, our capacity continues to grow and grow and grow. We've doubled down again, another 130 million for tranche number 1 of the 4th plant. But if demand doubles in the next 2 or 3 years, it's tough to say kind of where that overall availability goes. All I can say is our strategy on the sales team is we commit to a partner and we maintain that commitment, period. We do not entertain any additional customers until we can build more than our current partners, installation partners, distribution partners can move, and then we look at starting a new partnership. So the partners that have been with us for 3, 4, 5 years, and they've continued to retain that same supply as long as we know that it's there. Prime elite panels, extra 10% ITC. I think we answered that. Do you work with a homeowner who wants to install it themselves? So we do not even sell direct to installers. So no, we sell to our distribution partners. Our distribution partners then provide that product to installers, and I don't believe CED sells to a lot of DIY, but I'm not sure they would have to answer that question. Do you think these will roll these innovations down to your less premium lines? So here's the issue. Embedding a copper layer into a backsheet and designing a proprietary back contact cell is not cheap. So by rolling those technologies into the less premium lines turns them into a premium product. So we like to have broad shoulders, right? That's the way I look at it. Not every customer wants the lowest cost, lowest efficiency. Not every customer wants a balance of values, right? A good wattage at a good price. Not every customer wants high efficiency, good aesthetics, US made. So how can we have a product? How can we have a roadmap of products that are available to satisfy a majority of those demands? We're never going to have the good, better, best. We're never going to have the good. We don't do mass, large-scale Southeast Asian production at a low cost. It's just never been Silfab, never going to be Silfab. That's not who we are. Where we can have a good market share is on the better and the best, right? Our prime fits in with that better category where we can be good and competitive on efficiency and price and quality and build it here, etc. And then we have of the best category, the Silfab Elite fits right into that. The aesthetics, the efficiency, the country of origin, all of those things we talked about today, fit great into that best category. So of the better best, we like to have that. We don't want to compete in the good side of things. We can't compete on that side. Lead time on 410s. They are available in warehouses today. If it's a new order, larger order, it might be a month or so to get it processed and through. But we are ramping up a line and a second line is coming on. So we, again, have continued growth of this product for quite some time to come. If I get your rep to get solar for residential, will your rep be able to help me with installation, design, and software? No. So our reps are, module specialists. They're certainly well versed in financing and inverter compatibilities but the design side of stuff, Stuart has already clicked back on because that is where CED comes to the table and helps with all of that side of stuff.
Yeah, I can just add, Ryan. It looks like Magdalena had a couple of questions around that. We do offer full design services for licensed contractors. Going back to the DIY question too. Anybody can walk up to the counter and purchase product, but the full design services are available for any licensed contractor.
Awesome. And we're almost through here, I think. Oh, gosh. When was the first 410 delivered? Late January, early February. Was this recorded? Yes. Sean, record, yes. links. Yeah, we'll send out a thank you email to everyone who attended. We'll send some links to the digital copies, some links, et cetera, et cetera. We will send that out to everyone that has been on here and spent the hour with us. How's the inventory for 370s? It is, last time I looked, I saw another probably 10 to 15 CED locations. I should say Green Tech. You've rebranded. I'm an old person who can't change my mindset. Green Tech locations across the country in various locations. So again, reach out to us, your Silfab rep or your local CED, and we can find the 370 supply for you. Is the program available in Ontario? I'm not sure what the program is. No hats. No, sorry. We are very anti-swag, always have been. We reinvest our retained earnings on Eric's paycheck for the R&D side and additional capacity, right? You can't grow from 80 megawatts to 1.8 gigs all in retained earnings without being smart with your money. So I don't even own anything with Silfab on it. I'm ashamed to say. 30-second video. Our marketing team has got all sorts of stuff in the works for just generic Silfab videos, plus we've got the production elite video, etc. So again, we can send out some of those links as they become available. Needs a smaller form factor. We do not have any smaller form factor. We have 3 products, James, this year: the 400 HC Plus, the 410 VG, and the 500 HM. Those we are 100% grid tied, resi, commercial, small utility. End phase compatibility on the 410. I'm embarrassed. I looked at this the other day and I don't remember. My apologies, Nick. I am writing that one down. I need to answer Nick. And I will actually, for those still on here, I'll click over to my email address. I'll just, I'll filter through incoming questions and send them off to the powers that be that may be able to answer them. Nick, please do shoot me an email and I will get back to you on that promptly. Silfab, yes, we'll have, I think there's 2 or 3 of us at SolarCon next week. Design help software, no, that comes from CED. Who's a main distributor in Ontario? Funny thing is, we don't have a distributor in our own home province. We sell 98% of our product into the US, unfortunately, because Canada allows the importation of very low-cost modules from certain countries that are not allowed in the US. Do you offer SPA pricing for commercial accounts? Most 98% still goes through distribution, but usually we can, if it's a good sized project or portfolio, I work with the distribution partner and we just find a price that works for you. And ultimately then it shouldn't matter where it comes from, as long as you're getting, a price point that works for you on the volume that works for you. We like our partners. What can you say about Washington State factory, environmental conditions and wages? I'm not sure what I can say about that. I've been there 30 times. Environmental conditions seem good to me. It's Pacific Northwest, and the wages are competitive in the manufacturing landscape of Pacific Northwest. Not sure if that answers you. We're losing people quick. Place contract, swag. No co-branded swag today. All right, a lot of thanks. I think this is all the questions. Oh, curious to know end phase compatibility. Yep. Follow-up email. Perfect. Yeah, I will do that. Thank you. We're all Silfab. Great presentation. All right, we hit the end. 1 hour and 10 minutes. My apologies. We've gone over. Thank you very much for everyone's time. Hopefully we answered a lot of your questions, gave you some information that you didn't have beforehand, and certainly feel free. My contact email is here, and or any of the other Silfab contacts you already have. Please do direct those questions to us, and we will get back to you. Much appreciated for your time, guys.
Thanks, Ryan. Thanks for powering through that, and thanks, Eric. And I promise to work on my introduction delivery and pare it down even more. Thank you, everybody.